Chapter 8. The Soul. My doctor friend, knowing full well that the objection would be formidable, said, "What is your proof that man has a soul, that he is resurrected after death, and that he is not merely a body that ends as dust? And what does your religion say about summoning spirits?" After a moment of reflection, I replied, "Undoubtedly, the question today is difficult, and speaking about the soul is venturing into a profound mystery. The available facts are few, yet they are nevertheless on our side, not yours." I sank into thought for another moment, then continued. "Think with me a little. Among the first indicators that help us demonstrate the existence of the soul is that man has a dual nature. Man possesses two natures. The first is an external, apparent, observable nature, his body. It possesses all the characteristics of matter. It has weight, can be measured, occupies space, is bound by time, and is in constant change, motion, and flux from one state to another, from one moment to the next. The body undergoes various conditions, from health to sickness, from plumpness to emaciation, from rosiness to pallor, from activity to laziness, from sleep to wakefulness, from hunger to satiety. Attached to this corporeal nature is a stream of emotions, passions, instincts, and fears that never ceases to flow through the mind. Because this nature and its accompanying emotions possess the characteristics of matter, we say that man's body and his animal soul are from matter. But there is another nature, entirely different and distinct from the first, of another kind within man, a nature characterized by stillness, timelessness, and spacelessness, by permanence. This is the intellect with its fixed standards, measures, and categories, the conscience with its judgments, the aesthetic sense, and the self that carries all these attributes: intellect, conscience, aesthetic sense, and moral sense. This self is entirely distinct from the body and from the animal soul that flares up with hunger and desire. It is the absolute I. It is through this profound self that man feels that deep sense of presence, being, personhood, and existence in the world, the feeling that he is here, that he has always been here. It is a constant, extended feeling, not subject to change. It does not gain weight, become emaciated, fall ill, or is characterized by time. It has no past, present, or future. Rather, it is a continuous I, unceasing, like the ceasing past, but rather manifests as a feeling of permanence, of eternity. Here is another type of existence, not characterized by the attributes of matter. It is not subject to change, does not occupy space or is bound by time, and does not accept weight or measurement. On the contrary, we find that this existence is the constant by which we measure variables, the absolute through which we know everything relative in the world of matter. The truest description of this existence is that it is spiritual, and its nature is spiritual. After this, we may ask, which of the two natures is the true essence of man? Is man in truth his body or his soul? To know the answer, we must investigate which of the two natures governs the other. The materialists tell us that man is his body, that the body is the ruler, and that everything I mentioned, intellect, logic, aesthetic sense, moral sense, conscience, and this fantasy called the self or the I, all this is subsidiary to the body, secondary to it, subservient, obeying its command, working to serve it and fulfill its lusts and whims. This is the talk of our materialist brethren, and it is wrong. The truth is that the body is subordinate, not the master. It is commanded, not the commander. Does the body not hunger, and we refuse to supply it with food because we decided to fast this day for God? Does a passion not stir, and we curb it?
Do we not wake up in the morning and the body automatically begins to execute a plan of action devised by the mind, detailing it point by point from hour to hour? Who is the follower here, and who is the followed? And at the moment of self-sacrifice, when the martyr places the dynamite belt around his body and advances to destroy the tank and those inside it, where is his body then? Where is the material benefit achieved by his death? And who commands the other? The spirit decides to execute the body at a perfect moment that no materialist doctrine can explain by any material gain. The body cannot resist this command, nor possess any power to confront it. It can only vanish completely. Here it becomes clear which of the two existences is the higher, and which of the two natures is the true essence of man. Today, we have more than one proof that the body is the secondary existence. What is happening now with amputations, replacements, organ transplants, what we read about the electronic heart, the artificial kidney, blood banks, eye banks, and stores of human accessories where legs, arms, and hearts are assembled. It won't be a joke for the groom in the year 2000 to enter upon his bride and find her removing her dentures, wig, rubber breasts, artificial eyes, and wooden leg until nothing remains of her but a chassis like a car frame after removing the upholstery, seats, and doors. To this extent, the body is disassembled, reassembled, and replaced without anything happening to the personality. Because this arm or that leg or that hair or eye or breast, none of these things are the man. Here they are being transplanted, replaced, and substituted with batteries, screws, and pieces of aluminum, and nothing happens. So man is not these organs. Rather, he is the spirit seated in the driver's seat, operating this machine called the body. It is the tool represented by a board of directors made of brain cells, but it is not the brain. For the brain, like the cells of the body, receives the commands issued to it and expresses them. But in the end, it is nothing more than a glove for it, a glove worn by this hidden hand called the spirit, through which it acts in the material world. From all these evidences, we understand that man has two natures, an essential, governing nature, which is his spirit, and a secondary, transient nature, which is his body. What happens at death is that the transient nature succumbs to transiency, and the eternal nature attains eternity. The body returns to dust, and the spirit returns to its enduring world. For philosopher lovers, we present another proof for the existence of the soul derived from the property of motion. Motion cannot be observed except from outside itself. You cannot perceive motion while you are moving with it, from within the same orbit. Rather, you must have an external threshold upon which you stand to observe it. This is why there comes a moment when you are in a moving elevator and cannot tell if it is stationary or moving because you have become one piece with it in its motion. You cannot perceive this motion unless you look out the elevator door at the stationary pavement outside. The same situation occurs in a train moving smoothly on tracks. You do not perceive the motion of such a train while you are inside it, until it begins to stop, or when you look out the window at the stationary platform outside.
Similarly, you cannot observe the sun while you are on it, but you can observe it from the moon or earth, just as you cannot observe the earth while you inhabit it, but you can observe it from the moon. You cannot comprehend a state unless you exit it. Therefore, we would not have been able to perceive the passage of time were it not for the fact that the perceiving part within us stands on a separate threshold, outside this continuous temporal passage, that is, on the threshold of eternity. If our perception jumped with the second hand every moment, we would never be able to perceive those seconds, and our perception would pass away just as the seconds pass away, without noticing anything. This is a staggering result. It means that there is a part of our existence that is outside the framework of temporal passage, that is, eternal. It is the part that observes time from a threshold of stillness and perceives it without being entangled within it. This is why it does not grow, age, deteriorate, or cease. And when the body falls to dust, this part will remain in its state, alive with its own non-temporal life. This part is the soul. Every one of us can feel within himself this spiritual existence in the form of presence, permanence, personhood, and being, completely distinct from the changing, fluctuating, time-pulsating material existence outside. This inner state that we perceive in moments of inner lucidity, which I call the state of presence, is the key that leads us to the spiritual existence within us and puts our hand on this enigma called the soul. Another proof of our spiritual nature is our innate feeling of freedom. If we were material bodies within a material life governed by deterministic material laws, there would be no meaning to this innate feeling of freedom. The soul, therefore, transcends time, overcomes death, and surpasses material determinisms. What about the resurrection? If no one returns after death to tell us what happened to him, and the day of resurrection has not come for us to provide tangible evidence and an eyewitness account, all that can be said on the subject of resurrection is that it is a religious truth supported by reason and science. Why is it supported by reason and science? Because the evidences of existence and its phenomena all point to a return to the beginning, a cycle for everything after the end. Night comes, then returns anew, so day comes. The sun rises, then sets, then returns and rises. Summer, autumn, winter, and spring, then the cycle repeats itself anew. Summer comes, then autumn, then winter, and so on. After wakefulness and the sleep of night, we wake up again. This supports that after the slumber of death, there is a wakefulness of resurrection. Because there is a return for everything, and God names himself in the Quran the originator and the bringer back, in Surah Al-Araf, verse 29, as he originated you, so you will return. And in verse 4 of Surah Yunus, he begins creation and then repeats it. Does not everything orbit in a cycle, from the atom to the galaxy? Even civilizations have cycles, and history has cycles. This eternal return in everything supports the resurrection. Another proof for the resurrection is the precise, flawless system governing everything, from the largest galaxies to the smallest atom. Even the unseen electron cannot transfer from one orbit to another within the atom unless it gives or takes an amount of energy equal to its motion, as if it were a passenger on a train who cannot travel anywhere without a ticket. So how can we imagine in this precise system that a murderer escapes or a tyrant evades retribution simply because he eluded the police? Reason conceives that he must inevitably meet his recompense, and that there must be another world where accounts are settled. Thus says justice. We are inherently disposed to seek justice, love justice, strive for justice, and attempt to achieve justice. And yet, justice in this world is absent. As the thinkers say, if thirst for water indicates the existence of God, then surely thirst for justice indicates the existence of justice. If it does not exist in our world, then it must have a day and an hour when its scales are set up. All these are indicators that point to and support that there is a resurrection, a reckoning, and another world. As for the believer who trusts the Quran, he has no need for these arguments, for he has believed with his heart and spared himself the debate. It remains after that your question about summoning spirits. Summoning spirits is, in our view, a doubtful matter. It is doubtful that the phenomena of the dark room are due to the presence of the spirit of so-and-so. A great thinker like Henri Sarge says that the phenomena originate from the subconscious mind of the medium and the medium's own psychic powers, and that nothing is summoned at all. Indian thinkers say that what possesses the medium during a summoning session are lower spirits who know some things about the deceased and use them to mock the living and make fun of them. Muslim Sufis say that what is summoned in those sessions is not the spirit, but the qarin, the jinn that accompanies the person during his life. Due to this companionship, it knows his secrets, and because jinn are long-lived, it remains alive after its companion's death. It is the one that attends the sessions, divulges the companion's secrets, and imitates his voice and habits to mock the attendees, in keeping with the jinn's customary enmity towards man. They say that if we ring the office bell, it is the servant who answers, not the masters, for they do not leave their world and attend with such simplicity. Likewise, in the world of spirits, those who attend the sessions are the lower spirits and jinn and their like. As for human spirits, they are in another world, the world of Barzakh, the intervening period between death and resurrection, and cannot be summoned. However, they may contact those they love in dreams or in wakefulness if the appropriate conditions are met. From the many sessions we have attended and the personal experience we have gathered on this topic, we say that there is not a single proof that the phenomena of the darkroom are caused by the presence of the requested spirit. Perhaps the opinion of the Muslim Sufis is the most explanatory of what happens. The issue is still under research, and unfortunately, charlatanism in this area is more prevalent than truths. The final word has not yet been said. And undoubtedly, upon hearing words like jinn, lower spirits, and the Karin, you have your excuse. For if you do not believe in your own spirit, how can you be expected to believe in a jinn? And if you do not believe in God, how can you be expected to believe in his devils? And yet, if you had been born 100 years ago, and a man came to you talking about invisible rays that penetrate iron, images transmitted through the air across oceans in less than a second, and an astronaut walking on the soil of the moon, would you not have laughed and chuckled and fallen on your back with much laughter than now, saying to yourself, "This man has escaped from an insane asylum"? And now these are facts that fill our hearing and sight.